Hello again, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel. As the title suggests, this is the Maverick invasion of St. Francis County. I know I've just put it up there as a note, but I want to point this out. I'm actually running this video at twice the speed because there is just so much footage. I actually had to cut it down. There's just so much footage of having these two cars out and everything that we just had to cut it down. We had to cut it down. There was no way I think anyone wanted to watch nearly 2 hours of footage. So there's a lot of cutting and editing, but it was worth it. Okay, let me fill you in. Last video when we took Vera out for her maiden voyage, we basically we were told at her inspection that she just needed 5 things, and 4 of those 5 things were just tires. We got, we had enough money on our last paycheck, on our last 2 paychecks, mine and Princess Faye's. We basically decided to go out and get 2 new tires, and basically, because both cars, their fuel gauges don't work right. Just one of them things. We decided to stop at the Bonterre Casey's and put a little gas in Vera. The day before, we had filled Spirit up, and we knew we would be just fine. It was going to be just fine. But one of the things I'm going to tell everybody is that that believe it or not, Bonterre has gotten used to seeing both of these Mavericks. And when they see them together, they're like, well, yeah, that's just the way it is. Everyone's just kind of used to that. But when you get outside of Bonterre, everyone's not used to seeing that. So you should see the looks. I mean, a lot of people are like, wow, there's 2 Mavericks. It was just really exciting. Um, the love you get from having both of these cars out and about is just really exciting. People just really enjoy both of these cars. I almost believe that everybody almost loves these cars as much as we do here on the Prince Magnum channel. They're great to drive, and I have drove Vera. She's a wonderful ride, but I kind of lean towards Spirit a little bit more. But that's just because more of me is in Spirit than in Vera. That's just the way it is. Did that come out the way I wanted it? Anyhow, that's just how it is. Um, in this video, we did have one little mishap throughout the whole day. A vacuum line actually blew off of Vera's engine, and she started to spit, sputter, make a little bit of she just wasn't running right. She was loading up with fuel. So we replaced the line, but it's getting a little spongy. But it's not bad. But due to heat expansion and things like that, it's just not as tight as it once was. So one of the things I'm going to actually have to do is go in there and put a hose clamp on it. No big deal. It's a simple, easy fix. And hose clamps, you could buy those for next to nothing. Um, but, we actually, when that happened, we took it up to the end of the road here and stopped at Red Cedar Lodge. Everyone was watching and everything, but nobody said anything. Fixed the line and everything, and then out the door we were, off and running we were again. I had to cut out the footage at Red Cedar Lodge. It just added too much more time, to an already long-winded video. But we went initially. We went to Deloge Walmart because we like the guys at Deloge. The guys at Deloge are great people, but it's just one of those deals that we have taken Spirit to Farmington, and we like those people too. It's just we had gotten a little bit more friendly with the people at the Deloge Walmart when it comes to doing tires. So no big deal. We just it was one of those things we just had to stop at. We stopped there, and the guys at Deloge, obviously because they do such a great job, they were swamped. Okay, they were just absolutely swamped. So we decided to go ahead and take Vera to Farmington to get her tires done, which I'm glad we did. They did an amazing job, gave a very good price. Couldn't have been happier with the people at Farmington Walmart. So thank you very much, guys, for doing an amazing job on Vera. I haven't drove her, but Faye says she rides a lot better with just two new back tires. So obviously they knew what they were doing, and it was just like I said, everywhere we went. I mean, people just could not believe they were seeing two Mavericks, let alone one, but two. It was just really exciting, even though we'd already done it. Not everybody's seen this going on, so it was really exciting. And bear in mind, Princess Faye and I only also keep one cell phone, so we actually had to use the walkie-talkies again to keep in contact. Where are you going? What are you doing? Blah blah blah. Turn here. Because Vera, even though she's got most of her stuff that makes her legal, she still lacks the plates, and the only way to get the plates is to finish the inspection. It's just one of them things. Um, it was really funny. We were pulling into, she turned in. I thought she was immediately going to go to Farmington, and she basically went into Deloge. I was like, okay, all right, I know where you're going now. Because initially I asked, where the heck are you going? Well, then when she took off where she was heading, I'm like, where are you going? You need to put it in a parking spot. And she's, it was a laugh. It was a good laugh. You had to be there. That miscommunication thing. We're getting better at it, though. Um, we're getting better at it. I'm getting a dirty look right now. But, you know, and just for the record, at this stoplight, I mean, you should have seen all. I wish the camera would have been able to pick up all the looks, but a lot of people just did not know what to think about seeing a couple old Mavericks. Which brings to mind a conversation that seems to happen a lot because we don't have Vera out so much. Just when we're getting repairs done that we can't do here at home. Um, the thing of it is that when I'm with when I'm next to Spirit, when I'm doing something, whatever the case may be, it is not commonplace. Somebody will come up, and basically there's two conversations that happen. The first conversation is the more common one. An older person will come up, about my age or older, and typically it's the generation just before me, people who are old enough to be my dad or possibly even an older sibling. They'll walk up and they will say, I haven't seen one of these in years. And then you're like, yeah, we got lucky finding her. And then they'll say, um, I had, or someone I know in my family, or my best friend had one in high school, or whatever the case may be. And it's very commonplace. And basically, somebody or they themselves had one back in the day. And you're like, and for the longest time, it didn't bother me, but it seems like the last few weeks, it's like everybody had one. And this is the part of the conversation that it just gets, it's like, I've heard this a million times, buddy. you know, and then they'll say, these were great cars in their days. Yes, they were. It's so, and then they'll start asking about the year, the engine. That's when the conversation actually gets interesting, But, um, that's very commonplace. Now, the older people, well, that's the older people. Now, the young people, that's a totally another story. Typically, they'll either A, ask what it is, or B, they will say that is a cool looking Mustang. What year is it? And then you have to tell them that's not a Mustang. They never made a four-door Mustang. And then it dawns on them, no, they didn't. And so you have a good laugh about that, and then you have to tell them what it is, and that that's just the way it is, and it's really awesome. Like I said, I love the kids. When they come up and you get to tell them what it really is and everything, and all this is very commonplace. Now, for the record, I have had one older couple that pulled up, and they actually said, "You probably get this all the time, but I haven't seen one of those in years." And I used to, my older sibling had one. I said, "Yeah, I hear that all the time. I think everybody had one back in the day." So that's very commonplace. You just kind of get used to it. Mavericks are just not that common, especially the four doors. And time again, I tell everybody that I have to remind people that the four door Maverick is just so difficult to find. The two doors, you can find them. You will pay outrageous prices though, and if you got a grabber, double it. That's just the way it is. Um, but the four doors are rare, and you'll see people occasionally walk up and say it has too many doors. And then you have to look at them and say, when's the last time you seen a four door Maverick? And then they sit there and they think about it and like, okay, you got me. Okay. Um, just one of them things. There's critics everywhere. And just today, Faye was telling me that somebody came up and was asking about the Maverick, and they were almost kind of stupid about it. Faye was waiting for me to come out, and you know, uh, is this your, what is this Ford? And she's like, it's a, you know, well, is this, what is this a Ford? Yes. Is it a Nova? What? Ford didn't make the Nova. That's Chevy, you dunce. But she didn't say that. Well, no, it's a Maverick. Why a Maverick? And she tried to explain it, but he was a dummy. You know, um, and what it basically boiled down to, he was almost kind of silly because she was the one standing next to the car. Now, if it had been me standing next to it, it probably wouldn't have been that way. But just one of those things. You know, the hot rod world needs to start getting a little bit more inclusive. That's just something that I'll talk more about in a later video in an in your face where we need to take a different view on it. But anyhow, back to Project Spirit and Project Vera. Like I said, everywhere we went, both cars did amazing all day long. And the greatest bit of it all in the last video, I want to warn you all that um, in the next, in the last clip for this, um, there's a couple of things um, that you will that I need to tell you up front. Number one, okay, number one, um, project, you know, Project Vera and Project Spirit were actually showed at a car meet um, at the Farmington McDonald's on Columbia as you're heading out of town to head towards the Iron County area. You pass through Doe Run, all that, but at that McDonald's there in Farmington on Columbia, there's usually a car meet every evening on Saturday, unless they decide to meet somewhere else. And they cruise. They basically cruise in. Well, we brought both Mavericks up, and both of them, and they were an instant hit. The fact that there was two Mavericks there, both the same but different, if you will. They're different but the same. Anyhow, Cheech and Chong. You know, we so we showed both Mavericks. Both of them were instant hits, and believe it or not, even though Vera is still being brought up to to physically where Spirit is, um, a lot of people gravitated towards her a little bit more because it was a woman's car and the woman was working on it. So the old hot rodders actually found her slightly more attractive in for that reason alone. Um, just because it was a young woman working on it. My loving wife was the one putting the wrench time in. So that automatically made her an instant classic for everybody at the car meet. Oh, here I was just kind of playing. Um, and the other thing you're going to notice is in the last video, at certain points in the video, you're going to notice kind of a weird black spot. Don't panic, it's not a meteor coming to destroy the Earth. It was actually the sun. The sun was so bright that day that the camera just could not read it normally. It just couldn't do it. It's a digital camera. So a little video tip. If you're into paranormal investigation, things like that will happen, and your digital camera will bring it up, and you'll think it's something else when it really isn't. So just kind of a heads up for those knuckleheads that say, "Oh, it was an orb." Anyhow, don't panic. It's just it picked up something that you just it's one of the things. You know, um, and the other thing is that Princess Faye and I now have video footage. You won't really get to really see it all that well. I mean, you'll be able to figure it out, but basically, we did something. Yes, I know it was kind of wrong, but I think it was exciting for everybody who's seen it, and it was really short lived. Right there on the middle of Karsh, we basically both of us came up to the stoplight, and I said, to the next light. Light turns green, and I holler out, "Go!" And we took off. We dragged broad daylight in the middle, right on Karsh, and I mean, it was just something to see. I mean, you had to be there, and you know, Princess Faye gave up pretty quickly. Number one, she doesn't like going that fast, and I don't think she really could believe I actually talked her into it briefly. Number two, I was already pulling away. Spirit has the teeth of the two Mavericks. Granted, Vera's no slouch, but she has more teeth than Vera. And last but not least, she was afraid we were going to get into a lot of trouble. And I told her, I said, I honestly don't think anybody would have said anything. The fact that two Mavericks from the '70s, on Karsh, lined up, and they take off hard and that sort of thing. I honestly don't think anybody was going to say anything, including the police, just because when was the last time you seen something like that? That's history, man. That's pure nostalgia. And the fact that we were able to do that and people got to see it, um, that true Americana is still alive here, in St. Francis County. It was just really exciting. At the car meet itself, there was a really exciting moment. We because both cars are very much icons. Almost forgotten to history, but they're very iconic. There was actually some old friends of mine that I hadn't seen in many years up from the Ironton area. They actually they're putting them and a few others are putting together a car show for the 4th of July, and I'm hoping I can get the day off to do this. But amazingly enough, the Prince Magnum channel has been invited to go back to my hometown and show off both Project Spirit and Project Vera. There's that black dot I was talking about. But anyhow, yeah, the black dot's the sun. But back to what I was talking about. And I'm hoping I can get the day off from work. The fast food chain that I work for, evidently they don't like to give days off unless it's Christmas. And I think that's really kind of ridiculous. It's Independence Day. Come on. And right here, you can kind of see where I got up beside Princess Faye, and we had some fun. Um, it was very brief, but we got invited to go back home to my hometown and show off two amazing rides, and it was just a lot of fun, a lot of fun, and the fact that I love these Mavericks. They're really setting a nice tone um, for what this country was once all about. And if you've never driven a Maverick, you just don't know what you're missing. If you have driven a Maverick, well, you know what it's all about. I just can't say enough good about it. It was truly exciting. And while we were at it, while also at the meet, Princess Faye actually drew an amazing picture of Project Spirit. I actually have been looking at it while I've been, narrating this video, and it's absolutely just a gorgeous picture. Looks pretty much just like her. Um, You know, uh, the the car meets, like I said, one of the sad things about getting both cars out and about um, into the public and letting people see them. Uh, I will tell people that both cars are on YouTube. Tell them about the Prince Magnum channel. A lot of times, I'll even write the information down. I'm going to go home and I'm going to look it up and I'm going to subscribe. Well, I'm still sitting at 43, and the cruise in for the blind has been a couple weeks. It's just one of them things. Um, I'm pretty sure if I'd crack open, these people's accounts and look through their history, I'm pretty sure that we might see, the Let's Plays and things like that. And I don't want to get bitter or anything, but it's kind of difficult. Um, People today, and most of it's the younger people, but basically they will come up and they'll say, "Yeah, I'm going to subscribe. I want to see the work continue with these amazing cars," and then they don't subscribe. It's heartbreaking. It does get frustrating at times, and it gets difficult. But I try not to get hung up on it. Um, I try not to, get disheartened by it. I continue the videos because hopefully somewhere along the line somebody will say, "Hey, I forgot to subscribe to this guy," and that sort of thing. But it is kind of disheartening. I'm still sitting at 43. Did work my tail end off, for the cruise and for the blind, and I'm still sitting at 43. But it is frustrating. But I just keep telling myself maybe somebody will, will will go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because the sooner you all do that, the sooner I can do stuff like this full time. I don't want to work fast food anymore, but I can't go back to nursing now without fear of getting another staph infection and another series of staph infections and another stroke. I can't do it. It's frustrating. So basically, you know, do me a favor. If you view any of these videos, hit the freaking subscribe button so I can do something really cool for a change. I'm stuck at a dead end job. What else am I going to do? I need to continue to use my talents. And at the same time, you all can be educated and start learning how to think outside the box on your rides. Because in Prince Magnum's world, everyone has a custom car. Um, you know, and again, without getting into that, that frustrating stuff, because I don't like negative stuff on my channel, even though I have to from time to straighten some things out. I will again say that it was really exciting taking both cars to a cruise. Yep, there's a police officer. He didn't care. Um, it was just really nice to be able to take both cars to a car meet and let you all see it. All right, well, that brings us to the end of this video. Once again, this is the Prince Magnum channel. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and above all, if nobody has told you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you, and have a happy 24. Thank you.